can you talk about the future prospects of intelligent automation in compliance check and how organizations can prepare for them?
Mm-hmm. And there may be different types of compliance, right? Right. There is a process compliance, which is usually built around your internal compliance needs, right? That includes controls, it includes the way you execute activities, segregation of duties, etc. There might be legal compliance or statutory compliance, which comes from regulations, which comes maybe as well from the way you need to close the books, how you need to report, right? And there may be as well regulations which are more for your industry, like for instance in pharma, right, where you have to follow certain processes so that you can actually prove that you're compliant with certain activities as the rules are determining for your piece of work and the industry you're in. Right? So there are three different type of compliance requirements you may actually have depending on where you come from as an organization. Right? Now, looking into intelligent automation, one thing which I found to be quite interesting is that when I was talking to a lot of the audit functions, right, they immediately recognized the value which intelligent automation had for them in order to liberate them from a lot of these manual testing activities, right? So one angle which for me was a bit surprising is to see that there was such a big interest, and at the same time there was an ability for us to provide as well through automated testing of end-to-end use cases, through processes, really an ability to stress test the processes internally and get these findings out much more quicker for an audit function, for instance, right? So what you want to do is really build into your process design all aspects which require compliance and require as well control needs to be covered in your process design. So you validate with your control handbook already if the process you are actually dealing with needs to be having a control point upstream in the process or potentially passively somewhere downstream. So really think about that already as part of your process design. And then after that, with your authorities, which you need to check as well for the user of your bot or the user of your solutions, really make sure as well you meet with permissions and authorizations so that you meet up as well with your compliance needs and your internal audit requirements. And then with that as well, you can fast track reconciliation activities potentially as well on the execution of the process so that you understand for all of these control points how they have been performed, have there been any anomalies, and is there any risk included. Some of the good use cases I have seen as well going more into the direction of fraud checks, right, is really over checking, let's say, the volumes of invoices you have on two things. The first thing is duplicate check to see, am I paying twice the same thing, right? Or,
Yes.
Checking on suspicious bank accounts, which usually is something you check already at the supplier level, but you could as well potentially miss at the invoice level already. And really with that, identify, let's say, transactions you may want to be actually taking a second look at. And thirdly, as well, transactions which, you may think are going against compliance rules, right? They may have potentials of fraud, right? You may have there a situation that expenses get paid out of an invoice instead of travel and expense, for instance, because it's thought to be an easier path, etc. So some of these tools, they have AI capabilities right now, which allow you with intelligent automation to really scan through the volume of invoices and find these records, which are suspicious, potentially need a second look, and with that have an ability as well for you to prevent leakage, right? Prevent payment, which potentially shouldn't be happening, right?
Yes, so just make a photo of your invoice, upload it into the app, and you can understand if it's compliant, if it have some suspicious record, and then you can prevent loss of your money. It's quite good, and it's interesting how intelligent automation can help us with it.
And this is a very good use case, right? That invoice which gets uploaded, there's a lot of things you can do with that invoice, and definitely one thing you can do is double check whether or not there's a compliance issue, or there is potential fraud, or there is a potential duplication, right?